It's been a fair amount of time since Donald J. Trump was elected President of the United States. 1 year, 116 days, 4 hours, 56 minutes, and 6 seconds since I recorded this very sentence, to be exact. Throughout that time, during his campaign and presidency, we were made aware of his boldest stances in the many issues facing the United States.
We will build a great wall along the southern border.
But what is the Trump administration's stance on cannabis? During his campaign, the president's stance on cannabis was actually somewhat progressive. He supported states' rights to legislate medicinal cannabis on their own terms.
What I do support is medical marijuana in some form, and it's a very complex subject, as you know, but in a certain form and the way we have it and the way we've been discussing it, I support medical marijuana.
However, after the election, the Trump administration's position on cannabis had reversed. On February 23, 2017, during a White House press conference, former press secretary Sean Spicer stated,
I do believe that you'll see greater enforcement of it because, again, there's a big difference between the medical use, which Congress has through an appropriations rider in 2014, made very clear what the intent of what their intent was in terms of how the Department of Justice would handle that issue.
If this didn't get recreational cannabis users worried, then surely Trump appointing the position of Attorney General to Jeff Sessions would. Sessions is well regarded around D.C. as being one of cannabis's most ardent opponents. As the Attorney General, he is given executive responsibility over law enforcement, prosecutions, and general legal affairs. The stance he takes on cannabis and recreational drugs in general is old school, to say the least. So old school that Jeff has advocated for extra taxpayer funding to revive the DARE campaign. Don't know what the DARE campaign is? Remember these unintentionally hilarious PSAs from the 80s and 90s?
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
These PSAs cost taxpayer dollars an average of $600 million per year in the first 15 years of the program, and it was proven to be ineffectual at deterring youth drug consumption, so it was a waste of money. But I digress. The question is, how does Jeff Sessions fit into the Trump administration's approach to cannabis? Well, in addition to pushing this archaic drug prevention program, Sessions rescinded 3 Obama-era memos that adopted a policy of non-interference for state-legalized cannabis. As a result of the repealing, the federal government can now supersede states' rights, using their own discretion when cracking down on cannabis businesses in states where recreational cannabis is legal. In response to Sessions' actions, Colorado Republican Senator Cory Gardner held up 20 Department of Justice nominees. Senator Gardner clearly made this move to protect Colorado's legal cannabis laws from threatening federal interference. To ease the stalemate between Gardner and the administration, Trump has recently reached out to the Colorado senator, assuring him that he would work to find a solution to support cannabis states' rights. As a result of Trump's recent assurances, Gardner stated he would end the blockade on the justice nominees. So despite the stance of Sessions, Donald Trump's recent endorsement of pro-cannabis states' rights in this whole memo debacle may shed a little optimism for the future of cannabis legalization. One could say that Trump's current commitment to Senator Gardner gives the administration a more progressive stance on cannabis than it had before. But remember, despite verbal promises, the administration's track record of actions thus far have been objectively anti-cannabis, and actions speak louder than words.